Reheating leftovers might seem like a quick and harmless habit, but what if I told you that some everyday foods can actually become toxic when reheated, especially for seniors? According to health professionals and scientific studies, certain foods undergo chemical changes during the reheating process that can lead to serious health risks, ranging from digestive issues and food poisoning to more alarming concerns like cancer and even brain damage. The truth is, these aren't rare or exotic meals. These are common, familiar foods found in almost every kitchen. And while they might be perfectly safe when freshly cooked, reheating them could quietly be putting your health at risk. In this video, we're going to look at 6 specific foods you should never reheat, backed by real science and expert advice. Whether you're cooking for yourself or caring for a loved one, these tips can help you make smarter choices in the kitchen, and protect your long-term well-being. If you find this kind of content helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below to share your thoughts or questions. Let's make our kitchen safer, one meal at a time. Let's start with one of the most common and surprising culprits, rice. Rice is a staple food in nearly every culture. Whether it's served plain, fried, or mixed with vegetables and meats, rice is a go-to choice for millions of people, especially for dinner. But here's something few people realize: reheating rice can be a hidden health risk, especially for older adults. The problem isn't the rice itself, it's what happens after it's cooked. Rice can contain spores of a bacteria called Bacillus cereus. These spores can survive the initial cooking process. If the rice is then left out at room temperature for too long, say, while you're watching TV or forgetting to put leftovers in the fridge, those spores can multiply and produce toxins. And here's the kicker: reheating the rice won't destroy those toxins. So, even if your rice is steaming hot, the harmful compounds might still be there. This can lead to food poisoning with symptoms like nausea, vomiting, stomach cramps, and diarrhea. For a young, healthy person, this might be unpleasant but manageable. But for seniors, this kind of digestive stress can be much more serious, especially if the immune system is already compromised. But there's more. Poor digestion caused by harmful bacteria can interfere with how your body absorbs nutrients essential for blood circulation, muscle function, and energy levels. Over time, repeated exposure to these invisible threats can weaken the body's ability to maintain healthy blood flow and pelvic muscle strength, which are both crucial for intimacy and overall vitality. So, what should you do? If you're cooking rice, make sure to store leftovers within 1 hour, preferably in shallow containers that cool quickly. When reheating, only reheat once and make sure it's piping hot all the way through. But ideally, avoid reheating rice altogether. It's safer to cook a fresh batch or switch to alternatives like quinoa or oats when possible. Your health begins with small daily habits, and something as simple as reheating the wrong food could be doing more harm than good. Let's move on to the next item on the list, another common food that seems harmless but might be setting you back: potatoes. Potatoes are one of the most versatile and beloved foods in the world. Mashed, roasted, baked, or fried, they show up in everything from holiday dinners to everyday leftovers. But few people realize that reheating cooked potatoes can be risky, particularly if they weren't stored properly. Here's the issue: when cooked potatoes are left to cool at room temperature for too long, especially in airtight containers or foil, they create the perfect environment for the growth of Clostridium botulinum, the same bacteria responsible for botulism, a rare but potentially deadly form of food poisoning. Even without this extreme risk, potatoes that sit out too long can also host harmful bacteria that multiply rapidly. And like with rice, reheating doesn't always destroy these bacteria or the toxins they produce. For seniors or anyone with a weaker immune system, this can mean serious digestive distress, nausea, stomach cramps, or worse. But that's not all. Some studies suggest that reheated potatoes, especially those cooked with added fats like oil or butter, can undergo chemical changes that increase oxidative stress in the body. This contributes to inflammation, which plays a role in many age-related diseases, including cardiovascular and cognitive decline. So how do you stay safe? First, don't leave cooked potatoes out for more than 2 hours, store them in the fridge as soon as they've cooled down. If you're using foil to bake them, remove the foil before refrigerating, as it can trap heat and moisture, encouraging bacterial growth. When reheating, make sure they're heated thoroughly, piping hot throughout, but ideally, avoid reheating them altogether. Cook only what you'll eat fresh, or repurpose cold potatoes into a salad with olive oil and vinegar for a safer alternative. Potatoes might seem innocent, but under the wrong conditions, they can become a breeding ground for harmful bacteria and a hidden threat to your health. Coming up next, we'll take a closer look at a food that's often seen as a healthy protein choice, but can turn problematic once it's reheated: chicken. Chicken is often praised as one of the healthiest sources of lean protein. It's affordable, widely available, and commonly cooked in bulk to save time during the week. But what many people don't know is that reheating chicken, especially in the microwave or at high temperatures, can turn this nutritious staple into a potential health hazard. When you cook chicken for the first time, the heat denatures the proteins, making them easier for your body to digest. But when you reheat it, especially improperly, those proteins go through another transformation. They become tougher, more complex, and harder for your digestive system to break down. This is especially problematic for older adults, whose bodies naturally produce less digestive enzymes with age. The result? Bloating, discomfort, and a general feeling of heaviness or sluggishness after eating. But the concerns go even deeper than digestion. Reheating chicken at high heat, like in a microwave, can also increase the formation of harmful compounds known as AGEs, advanced glycation end products. These compounds are linked to chronic, low-grade inflammation, which is considered a silent contributor to serious conditions such as heart disease, arthritis, insulin resistance, and even Alzheimer's. Over time, this kind of inflammation can drain your energy, dull mental clarity, and make common age-related issues even worse. There's also the matter of food safety. Chicken is highly susceptible to bacteria like Salmonella and Campylobacter, and improper reheating can result in uneven heating, allowing these bacteria to survive and multiply. Reheating chicken more than once increases this risk significantly. The texture and taste are usually a giveaway too. Rubbery, dry, and oddly flavored chicken isn't just unappetizing, it's a sign that the food's nutritional value and quality have degraded. So what can you do? Reheat gently using a stovetop or oven at low temperature for more even, controlled heating. Only reheat once, and always make sure it reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit 74 degrees Celsius. Better yet, enjoy leftovers cold, in a chicken salad or a wrap. Or simply cook smaller portions so nothing needs reheating. Up next, we'll cover a leafy green that seems perfectly healthy, until it's reheated: spinach. Spinach is one of the healthiest vegetables out there, packed with iron, vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber. It's a go-to ingredient in omelets, soups, and sautés, especially for those trying to eat clean. But there's a hidden danger when you decide to reheat spinach, especially for seniors. Here's why: spinach contains high levels of nitrates. In their natural form, nitrates are harmless and even beneficial, helping to improve blood flow and lower blood pressure. However, when spinach is reheated, especially at high temperatures or in the microwave, these nitrates can convert into nitrites, and then into nitrosamines, which are potentially carcinogenic. Nitrosamines have been linked to an increased risk of cancer, particularly in the digestive tract. This risk may be more significant for seniors, whose bodies are more vulnerable to long-term toxin exposure and have a harder time eliminating harmful compounds. Beyond cancer risk, nitrites can also affect the blood's ability to carry oxygen, especially in infants and older adults. This can lead to a condition known as methemoglobinemia, sometimes called blue baby syndrome, but in adults, it can result in fatigue, dizziness, or even shortness of breath over time. It's also worth noting that reheated spinach often loses much of its texture and flavor, becoming slimy or bitter, another sign that it's undergone chemical changes that may not be beneficial to your health. So, what should you do instead? If you're cooking spinach, try to prepare only what you'll eat immediately. If you do store leftovers, avoid reheating them, add cold spinach to smoothies or mix it into cold pasta or grain salads. And avoid reheating spinach-based soups or stews more than once. Spinach is still a nutritional powerhouse, but only when consumed fresh or stored and used properly. For seniors who are focused on protecting their digestive health and reducing cancer risks, this is one vegetable best eaten fresh, not reheated. Next on the list is a food that shares many of the same dangers, mushrooms, especially when reheated the wrong way. Mushrooms are a favorite in many dishes, from stir-fries and soups to pasta and omelets. They're low in calories, rich in antioxidants, and offer a meaty texture that's perfect for plant-based meals. But despite all their benefits, reheating cooked mushrooms can pose serious risks, especially if they've been stored improperly or left out for too long. Mushrooms have a very delicate cellular structure, and they're made up of a lot of water. When they're first cooked, they're safe and easy to digest. But when you reheat them, especially in the microwave or at high heat, the protein compounds in mushrooms begin to break down further, changing in structure and becoming more difficult to digest. For seniors with slower metabolism or weaker digestive systems, this can lead to bloating, cramping, or even nausea. But the real concern lies in food safety and spoilage. Mushrooms are highly perishable. If they're cooked and then left out at room temperature for too long, they can develop harmful bacteria, including strains that produce toxins resistant to heat. That means even if you reheat them thoroughly, you might not be destroying all the harmful compounds they contain. In some cases, these heat-resistant toxins can contribute to digestive inflammation, which, over time, puts added strain on your immune system. For seniors already dealing with inflammatory issues like arthritis or chronic fatigue, this can worsen symptoms and reduce energy levels. On top of that, reheated mushrooms often become rubbery, spongy, and unpleasant in taste, another clear indicator that they've undergone undesirable chemical changes. To minimize the risks, eat mushrooms fresh, ideally right after cooking. If you do store leftovers, refrigerate them within an hour of cooking, and only reheat once, using gentle heat on the stovetop, not the microwave. Or, better yet, enjoy them cold. In a salad, sandwich, or with a drizzle of olive oil and lemon juice. While mushrooms are full of nutrients and flavor when fresh, reheating them can turn them into more of a hazard than a help, especially for seniors prioritizing gut health and energy. Next up, we'll look at a food that almost everyone has in their fridge, but few realize becomes risky once reheated: eggs. Eggs are one of the most popular breakfast foods in the world, and for good reason. They're packed with high-quality protein, essential vitamins like B12, and important nutrients for brain and muscle health. But when it comes to leftovers, reheating eggs, especially hard-boiled, scrambled, or fried, can be a mistake that affects both their quality and your health. Let's start with the science. When eggs are first cooked, their protein structure changes in a way that makes them easier to digest. But reheating cooked eggs, particularly at high heat or in the microwave, can cause the proteins to tighten even further, becoming rubbery, tough, and less bioavailable. This means your body has a harder time breaking them down and absorbing nutrients, leading to digestive discomfort, bloating, or sluggishness, especially in older adults whose digestion naturally slows down with age. But it doesn't stop at poor digestion. When eggs are reheated, especially with added oils or fats, they can also form oxidized cholesterol, a compound that's been linked to artery damage, inflammation, and increased risk of heart disease. This is particularly concerning for seniors, who are already more vulnerable to cardiovascular issues. In addition, microwaving eggs in their shell or even reheating boiled eggs improperly can cause them to explode, leading to safety risks in the kitchen. It may sound trivial, but hot egg fragments can cause serious burns. The flavor and texture also take a hit. Reheated eggs often taste sulfurous, rubbery, or just plain off, which reflects underlying chemical changes that aren't doing your body any favors. To avoid these issues, Cook eggs fresh whenever possible. If you must reheat them, do so gently on the stovetop, and avoid using a microwave. Better yet, use cold eggs in a salad, sandwich, or wrap. Hard-boiled eggs, when eaten cold, retain their nutritional value without the added risks of reheating. And cook smaller batches to reduce the need for storing leftovers in the first place. Eggs can be one of the healthiest foods you eat, but only when handled right. Now that we've covered the full list, let's wrap up with a few final thoughts. As we've seen, not all leftovers are created equal. While reheating food is convenient, certain common items, like rice, potatoes, chicken, spinach, mushrooms, and eggs, can transform from healthy to harmful when heated a second time. The risks aren't just about taste or texture. We're talking about serious health consequences, from digestive distress and nutrient loss to dangerous toxins, bacterial growth, and even long-term issues like inflammation, heart disease, and cancer. For seniors, who already face natural changes in digestion, immunity, and circulation, these risks are even more pronounced. The good news? Staying safe doesn't mean giving up these foods entirely. It just means being more mindful of how you store, reheat, or better yet, avoid reheating them. Preparing smaller portions, using cold leftovers creatively, and reheating gently when necessary can make a big difference. Your kitchen habits have more power than you think. Something as simple as skipping the microwave for certain foods could help protect your health, energy, and peace of mind for years to come. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know, did any of these surprise you? Do you have other foods you avoid reheating? This channel is all about practical tips to help you stay strong, sharp, and healthy, especially as you age. So stick around, we've got more great content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes, the safest choice is a fresh start on your plate.